Good afternoon. Am I alone or?
I think so, yes.
Ooh. My glasses are totally dirty again.
So, what are you allowed to tease about the upcoming season?
Oh God, it's so hard to talk and to. But you know what? The fact is that I don't know that much myself that I could reveal. So I'm kind of, I've read the first 2 episodes. What I can reveal is that it will go a lot more into the characters. The first season was a lot of plot, a lot of establishing that world, and this time it's just a lot about the relations of people, and time travel is gonna get really wild.
Wilder.
Yeah, and some really interesting thought concepts for Jones.
Are you having fun playing the character?
Immense.
She's really developing into a whole different thing than we thought at the beginning of the season.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was, in the beginning, my role was even planned to be only like 3 episodes or so. No, I have really fun because, it's to have a complex role for a woman my age, it's not, so widespread. It's kind of, it's a good thing that she's a leader, a female leader, and has power, and we're going to see probably a little more vulnerability in the next season. So, I have really fun playing that part.
Did you study up on time travel technology?
I did.
What's involved? All the paradoxes? I mean, it makes your head spin.
Yeah, I did, but I think this goes, the TV series goes beyond what is now happening in science. Stephen Hawking said when he was talking about time, he didn't talk about time travel for a long time because he was afraid people would think he was a hack. But now I think science is actually really thinking, theoretically at least, about it.
Yeah.
So I tried to catch up with what I could.
Now we've seen some of your backstory about your family and how you came about to where you were at. There's a lot of flashbacks.
Yeah, well,
flash
my
forwards.
My father, right,
Yeah.
there was the scene with my father. So she's coming from Germany, obviously, because I have a German accent, and was a scientist always. And in the one episode, she says that her father wanted her to go into medicine, but she wasn't interested really dealing with the bodies, which she has to do now with her injections. Which is the irony. But I think she is really a very cerebral person.
Is it hard to go back and forth with that sometimes when you have to flash back to a time where you don't know everything, and so you have to act differently towards the person you've been acting towards?
Right. Well, you know what? The really big difference. I have done mostly movies, mostly in Europe. So, and the difference is, if you do a movie, you have a script, and you know how a character ends, and you can also develop your character from the end. But in a TV series, you don't know, so you can only develop your character and as complex as the information you have at this point. But I have to write everything down. I have to really keep a timeline in order to keep track of everything.
Are you given the script ahead of time?
Not much, depending.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a little bit before, sometimes just short time before.
Did you go back and look at the movie at all?
I did.
Okay.
I did, yes. Before I started, I looked at the movie.
How much did it help you? Or do you think it was just added material?
I think it was added material, yeah, because my character in the movie is not featured in a very extensive way or very complex, so I had to start at a different point.
What's it like working around all this technology, the big system and all the buttons and all of that?
Well, you have to kind of assign yourself what is what button, you know? It's kind of, and it's stuff that is assembled out of old stuff.
Really?
Well, yeah, because it was the apocalypse, right? Kind of, and things were destroyed, And sometimes we're wondering, why do we have here in the future like a computer that looks like it's from 1982? And it's because things were destroyed and they took old things and they put it together and, you know. Yeah.
So this has got to be the last question.
What would you say is your favorite part of playing Jones?
I think my favorite part is, well, it is the passion that she has for the mission, and that she is willing to go any direction to pursue this mission. What I really like is that she has to, on one hand, she is this leader, she is the head of the facility, she is the head of this time traveling, so she has to have this facade on one hand of somebody who is very authoritative, but on the other hand, it's interesting for me to think what is underneath, how much can I reveal from her emotional state. So this balance between her inside and her outer demeanor is really interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Would you tell me where are you from and what you are doing? With which publication or what you read?
Rebecca Murray, Showbiz Junkies. Online.
C42.
East Magazine, Alex.
Rebecca Alvarez, Young Adult Hollywood.
Christiane Elin, Red Glean, and CNN I Report.
Brandon Rouse, Spoiler TV.
Kelly Bedard, My Entertainment World.
Can I get a
Great.
straight on shot?
Great. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I'm very happy so much to meet you,
All right.
that you have an interest in it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Interest, we're obsessed.
How can you not?
Hello.
So smart.
It is one of the
It is
smartest
so
shows on
smart.
TV.
What?
Oh, isn't it? I know. How lucky are we?
Do the scripts surprise you?
Yes, very much so. We're getting in on it. All right, here we go, guys. Yes, every single week I am surprised, and it's a real gift to be on a show when you don't even know as an actor where, when you'll be, where you'll be, and who you'll get to play off of from one week to the next. I mean, I hit the serious jackpot with this job, and I am very well aware of it.
What can you tease at all about the next
Oh God,
season?
guys!
Without getting in trouble.
Well, we start on Tuesday.
Okay.
So I can't tell you anything for sure that has happened because you never know. However, it's good. It's really good. We've gotten the first 3. I got the 4th last night, but I wasn't able to read it. I conked out. But Cassie has a very different journey ahead of her, and it's going to be really exciting. From my perspective, I mean, everyone has a great and interesting journey ahead of them, but from my character's perspective, I get to be the same bones of the person that I developed over the course of the 13 episodes last season, but I get to take her down a completely different road, and that it's going to be really exciting to travel her down in and encounter situations that she didn't have to deal with last season. Yeah.
We're going to see more of the Cassie and Cole fractured romance across time.
You know what's so funny is that people really think that they had this big love affair. We never had a love scene. We never had a romance of any sort. It's and when we just did a bunch of casting. Aaron and I went to France and did some press, and one of the interviewers was like, "Oh, you know, Cassie, she has all these men in her life, blah blah," blah. And I was like, "She had 2, dude. What are you talking about?" You know? And he was like, "No, Cole. They never had a love scene, you know, so they never had a real romance. It was all implied, and it was I think part of it that comes across is that it's a relationship that's so unique to anything else that it probably is on television from my perspective, but also they need each other in a way that is really desperate and resentful at the same time, and it's really special
You can feel the longing. Over all those years, they hope, are so hopeful in each other, and they really wish upon each other a lot to make it through some difficult situations.
I think that's very true, and I think also though they would never know each other. They would never have known each other if it weren't for these horrible circumstances. So there's also a level of resentment and frustration that they even have to know each other. But if there weren't this plague, they would never know each other. So it's a weird dichotomy of push-pull between the two of them that exists from their perspective and then within each other as well.
We also get a sense that they're afraid of solving this problem because it means that their relationship would never have existed, and they lose that.
Yeah, and I think that was something that we dealt with in episode 7, directed by John Badham, was that Cassie had to make the call to drop the bomb, and she knew what that meant. She had also been told by Cole that she needed to do it, and what she needed to do afterwards going forward. And you saw how challenging it was for her, what that meant, because she knew what it meant, and then going forward how she was going to live, and then what that did to her psychologically, afterwards. And there were actually scenes in the following episode that got cut out, dealing with a little bit of that. But you never know. Time travel, the scenes could always pop back up in another season. You never know.
Are you hopeful they will? Would you like the audience to see those?
There are a lot of scenes that could pop up for good and bad, I think. I think this season my character will be so different from what she was last year. It would only probably be in flashback type of moments. But yeah, why not? You do the work and you put your best foot forward. So if they show up, hopefully they would work within the context of the story.
And when you say different, how can you be more specific about how different she's going to be?
Sure. Well, I don't know how much I can tell you without giving you a spoiler. She becomes much more a product of her environment. So she had this evolution over the course of last season from where she started, and she was horrified at the idea of killing a person. And she was really adamantly opposed to using violence to solve this problem. The more she realized how deep the roots were to the mystery and to the bad guys, for lack of a better word, behind it, the more she realized the steps that she needed to take needed to be more and more drastic. And so going forward next season, she's in it.
More kick-ass.
I get a straight-on shot.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I hope I gave you anything that can be deciphered and decoded.
You were great. That was awesome.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Oh my God, young Kelly was like the biggest center stage fan in the world.